Thank you for joining me, Diana Master, on Animated One, where we highlight the news making waves in Namibia and beyond, ranging from current affairs, community stories, sports, and economic news. Coming up in this broadcast, Shimi questions Namcor Enercon $60 million Namibian deal. Ministry says it cannot help jobless teaching graduates. And NAST denies owing architects $5 million Namibian. Stick around, we'll be right back with our midday news update. The City of Windhoek's decision to cut off water and electricity to defaulting homes has left residents of Katutura Central with no choice but to petition President Hage Geingob. The residents have been without electricity for over 6 months, which has forced them to close down their businesses, leaving them without any source of income. In the petition to be handed over to the head of state, the residents demand the City of Windhoek write off their debts, eliminate consumption estimates, introduce prepaid electricity and water meter systems, and get rid of Red Force as the debt collector. Visual News highlights local stories from across Namibia right after the break. Stay with Animated One.
Stock up and save with the best deals at WB. Get 1 litre Vita Creamy for $11.99, 2 litre Nam Milk Omaere for $44.99, 200 gram top class spice mix for $11.99. 10 kg Hotchfeld maize for $84.99, plus 2 kg surf washing powder for just $52.99. See more WB specials online at www.vurmanbrock.com. We care.
Getting into today's visual news clips. Yesterday morning, Stadia Namibia conferred qualifications of higher education to students who have just completed their journey at the institution. Delivering the keynote address, Dr. Kennedy Mabuku, who is also a graduate of Stadio, encouraged the class of 2023 to be active contributors to the growth of their Namibian economy with their acquired skills. The ceremony takes place at Windhoek Country Club, where Tawene Shikage reports.
Come up with ways and means to ensure that we also contribute to the economy, not just to demonstrate in the street to say we are seeking for jobs. What part are you bringing as a graduate? As a graduate, you become the driving force behind the new business or startups. By identifying unmet needs and innovative solutions, you can create a job opportunity for yourself and others. As you leave this institution and step into the world, remember that you are not alone. You are part of the global community of Stadio Higher Education Alumni. You were just told that especially those that are graduating with postgraduate already, you are incorporated in the system for life. Lean on this network and stay connected and continue to learn from each other. Today, it's not the end, it is the beginning of the new chapter in your lives. Embrace it with enthusiasm, courage, and a sense of purpose. Your education has equipped you to face the challenge ahead and your potential limitation.
Getting into our next video, Director of Research and Innovation in the Ministry of Higher Education, Technology and Innovation, Dr. Lisho Mundia, presents developments of the satellite tracking station. This follows after the AfriGeo Symposium, which took place from the 18th to the 22nd of September 2023. Precious Ngituanapo reports.
Vision towards the space career in the country, how are we benefiting from it?
Yeah. So the station was actually, basically was founded under an intent letter, which is shown in the video by our founding president when he was then invited by his counterpart from the intent, then little work started, which developed into an agreement which was signed then in 2010, I think, or 2011. That agreement expired in 2015. 2017, I was appointed a director. And I was told this is the agreement. It's expired. The Chinese wants it, and then we said, well, we are in a win-win relationship, so we need something. And besides the expired agreement that trained a number of Namibians which are operating here, and some are recruited somewhere, we then started opening the center for exhibition, to awareness, to school, university students. We actually have one coming now, I think next week. They have to be here. So those are some of the benefits, but the Chinese, as we speak now, maybe when you come to Windhoek anytime soon, make time. They are busy constructing what we call the satellite ground receiving station in Windhoek. It's the state-of-the-art infrastructure that we will receive, which receives Earth observation data, the one that you experienced at the conference. Yes. We do not have that. I think we are the second, if not the third country to receive that in Africa. So that's a big benefit that we will receive from the Chinese, from that agreement, which also still touched it to this. Yes. Did I leave anything? Sorry.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
You mentioned the training,
yes.
You mentioned the station,
yes.
Those are the major.
We take human resource development very serious, Governor, because even if we get infrastructure, we need to know how to operate them. So that's why we prioritize human resource development.
In the last of our visual news stories, the Namibian company Honeyguide Investments reacted to the call of the Ministry of Fisheries and Marine Resources for the right holders and joint venture companies in the large pelagic subsector to invest in fishing vessels, thereby enabling Namibian fishing vessels to fish in national and international waters on Namibian quotas. To make the vessel a true Namibian pride, we named her MFV Helena Ndume, Fernando de Castro said. Sheldon Johannes reports.
As an ophthalmologist, the Namibian company Honeyguide Investments reacted to the call of the Ministry of Fisheries and Marine Resources for right holders or joint venture companies in the large pelagic subsector to invest in fishing vessels and thereby enabling Namibian fishing vessels to fish in national and international water on Namibian quotas.
It was a big investment. It was a big bet. It's going to take us 60 days to reach the fishing ground in the South Pole, and the investment will be between 100 to 150 million Namibian dollars. The vessel is going to be back around March or May next year, so it's going to be a long journey. Wish us luck, and thank you for the interview. Thank you.
How many employees are going?
The vessel has 32 employees. We have around 12 Namibian employees because it's a very highly specialized fishery, and we couldn't find experienced seamen here in Namibia that big in Antarctic before. So we were forced, at least for the first trip, to hire some foreign crew from Indonesia, from Uruguay, and from Spain, and from Namibia. So the vessel right now looks like the United Nations.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
To make the vessel a true Namibian pride, we named her MFV Helena Ndume. The vessel was then Namibian registered and Namibian flagged. Dr. Helena Ndaipovanu Ndume needs no introduction in Namibia. In short, she is the selfless Namibian scientist of highest caliber, recognized all over the world for her dedication to sharing her passion as an ophthalmologist with the poor of the poor by providing eye care health services they could otherwise not afford. It is our belief that Dr. Helena Ndume is the pride of the nation, with her work making us celebrate and keep up her vision by naming our newly acquired fishing vessel the MVF Helena Ndume. This 50-meter fishing vessel with a GRT 1013 and a hull capacity of 304 was bought at financing cost of approximately 84 million Namibian dollars, which should take the country approximately 10 years to finance. At the time of purchase, the vessel had a different name, which we thought was not representative of Namibia.
After the break, the Namibian Sun leads us into the newspaper review segment. Stay tuned.
eTicket, your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. For more information, contact events@nmh.com.na.
Thank you for staying with NMH at 1. We now take a look at what the lead stories are in Namibia's daily newspapers. Starting us off, the Namibian Sun reports that the Namibia Statistics Agency says it is prioritizing the counting of homeless persons across the country to provide the government with much-needed statistics. NSA Board Chairperson Salomo Hayes said the counting of homeless persons is critical to help the government create conducive policies. He added that special provisions have been made to ensure that homeless persons are accounted for. There is a clear plan in place. We will account for every homeless person in Namibia. It is a critical exercise, and with plans being noted, we must make sure that it speaks to the plans policymakers are making. On page 3, the Namibia University of Science and Technology is currently embroiled in a legal tussle with Mutua Scriba Architects. The university allegedly refused to pay the architecture firm over 5.1 million Namibian dollars for professional services it rendered for NAS Campus, Hostel, Graduation Square, Pupkowitz Fab Lab, and Center for Enterprise Development. In court papers, NAST admitted that an amount of 5.1 million Namibian dollars is outstanding and that it had made a 7,797 Namibian dollar payment, but insisted that it is not indebted to Mutua Scriba Architects and is not entered in agreement with the firm, but rather with Bernard Mutua Architects. On the front page of the Republican, a man who was attacked and killed by 5 dogs in Oshakati on Sunday morning was a family man who will be missed by his 2 children, his relatives said. Reuben Abraham, a former Namibia Defence Force member, died in Oshakati State Hospital, where he was admitted after the vicious attack which took place while he was on his way home from work at Rubicon Security on Sunday. The attack happened at Oshakati's Panama Tiles and Paint Wholesale, whose owner, Chinese national Huang Lingyan, owns the dogs. The dogs attacked another security guard yesterday, but Simon Jaffet lived to fight another day. The dogs were put down hours later with the consent of the Oshana Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. On page 3 this year, 39 rhinos have been poached so far in Namibia, compared to 92 in 2022 and 50 in 2021. Tourism Minister Pohamba Shifeta presented these figures at the commemoration of World Rhino Day at Okaukeo in Etosha National Park. At the event, the minister also officially launched a horse anti-poaching unit. 13 horses have been purchased by the ministry for 10,000 Namibian dollars each, with funding support from the Game Product Trust Fund. 8 horses will be stationed in Etosha National Park, while 5 will be stationed in Waterberg Plateau Park. Moving over on its front page, the Allgemeine Zeitung highlights the veterinary authorities of Angola, Botswana, Namibia, Zambia and Zimbabwe have met again to find a way to ensure common strategies and coordinated work process increase the effectiveness of each country in disease control and thus ensure the success of the region as a whole. On the paper's page 3, it focuses on the Ministry of Information and Communications Technology that announced that it would reformulate the draft of the cybercrime law. The draft law on data protection also received a revision. However, criticism from the IPPR continues. We'll now take a quick ad break and return with the second half of our newspaper review segment.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouthwatering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
Getting into the second half of our newspaper review segment, the Namibian newspaper reports that the Minister of Finance and Public Enterprises, Ipumbushimi, has questioned why the National Petroleum Corporation of Namibia accepted a monthly repayment of 500,000 Namibian dollars from a military-owned fuel supply company that received 60 million Namibian dollars in taxpayers' money. Shimi wrote a letter 3 months ago demanding an explanation for transactions between Namcor and a military contractor called Enercon Namibia. Enercon is owned by brothers Peter and Malakia Elindi, as well as military company August 26 Holdings. The joint venture has a 15-year contract since 2014 to supply fuel to the Ministry of Defence and Veterans Affairs, as well as to build and refurbish oil depots. On page 3, the government says it is unable to offer a lifeline to the increasing number of teaching graduates facing unemployment after university. Acting Executive Director of Education, Arts and Culture, Noximbua, says the ministry simply does not have sufficient vacant posts to accommodate the majority of unemployed teacher graduates countrywide. This comes as a blow to a group of more than 1,000 unemployed education graduates who have rallied together to petition the government. The graduates say by imposing a moratorium on new admissions, the government could prevent further saturation of the job market and allow the teaching employment landscape to stabilize. The New Era's lead story reports that traditional leaders and political actors have come out guns blazing, expressing dissatisfaction with President Hage Geingob over his recent utterances on the genocide issue. First, during a public lecture in France recently, Geingob allegedly said apartheid was worse than genocide that obliterated at least 120,000 Nama and Ovaherero people. Geingob's most recent utterance, which appears to be the final straw, was in an interview with France 24 over the weekend, where he sounded as though the genocide issue has reached a dead end. On page 3, leader of the Landless People's Movement, Bernarda Swartboy, accused the Namdeb Diamond Corporation of operating in a highly secretive world where potential maleficence is rife. The entity is a wholly owned subsidiary of Namdeb Holdings, which is a 50-50 joint venture between De Beers and the Namibian government. Making these remarks at a press conference last week, Swartboy questioned the royalty tax relief granted by the government to fund Namdeb's ramp-up phase. Moving over, the Market Watch reports that Trustco Property Holdings Privately Limited, a part of the diverse investment portfolio of Trustco Group Holdings Limited and a leader in Namibia's industrial land development, announced the third successful renewal of its environmental clearance certificate for the Lafrens Industrial Township development. This industrial project boasts a prime location situated just 7 kilometers away from the central business district of Windhoek on the remaining land of Farm Nubuamis number 37. Now, Quantum Foods has lost 2 million chickens. An update on this coming up as we move over to economic news after the break.
Evening and welcome to Sunset News.
Dutch Minister List A in his speech, the rate in taxes and how much.
After the break, we take a look at the sports.
We bring you
economic indicators, tomorrow's weather and sports. I am Aina Raiza Kweyong.
You're still watching Animation 1. Let's head straight into our economic news. South African poultry farmers have warned of possible chicken and egg shortages as they battle what the industry says is the worst bird flu outbreak to ever hit the country. Producer Quantum Foods said that this year it had lost almost 2 million chickens, worth a total of more than 100 million rand because of the disease. The bird flu outbreak is the worst that South Africa has witnessed, fellow producer Astral said in a trading update. It has already caused short supplies of table eggs into the market, and it is expected that the supply of poultry meat into the value chain could be affected negatively in the coming months. The outbreak has costed 220 million rand so far, the company said. One of the continent's major poultry producers, South Africa, reported the first bird flu cases in commercial farms in April, according to an industry group. Now let's take a look at the economic indicators. The Namibian dollar trades at 23.02 to the British pound, 20.06 to the euro, 18.94 to the US dollar, while 2 Namibian dollars and 59 cents buys you 1 Chinese yuan. All of the selected NSX maintained their price on the stock exchange. Local index closed and overall index closed, both maintained as well on the NSX. Looking at commodities, all commodities are down, with gold at 0.63%, copper taking a dip of 0.70%, platinum 2.70%, and Brent crude oil taking a downturn of 1.49%. We now expand beyond Namibia's borders to give you the latest news from the African continent here on Animated 1.
We are so excited to be kickstarting your morning with entertainment. Everything was happening during this past weekend.
Yes.
Exciting news.
Wow, no, she was killing it already.
In my opinion, I don't see anything wrong with him serving the full term.
As well as keeping you informed on the issues that you need to know happening in and around our country.
In news from Africa this afternoon, Kenya and the US signed a defense agreement Monday that will see the East African nation get resources and support for security deployments as it is poised to lead a multinational peacekeeping mission to Haiti to combat gang violence. Kenya's Defense Minister Aden Duale and the US Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin signed the accord at a meeting in the Kenyan capital, Nairobi. The agreement guides the country's defense relations for the next 5 years as the war in East Africa against the Al-Qaeda-linked Al-Shabaab extremist group intensifies. Austin thanked Kenya for volunteering to take the leadership of the Haiti multinational force and reiterated that the US government would work with Congress to secure the $100 billion in funding that it pledged on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly. Austin said the rest of the world ought to follow Kenya's commitment to global security and step up and provide more personnel, equipment, support training and funding. Kenya in August pledged to send 1,000 security officers to Haiti to combat gang violence in a mission that is pending the UN Security Council's formal approval but has received support from the UN and the US. Don't go anywhere, international news coming right up.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss my .NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
In our international news this afternoon, an explosion at a fuel depot in Azerbaijan's Nagorno-Karabakh has killed 20 people and injured hundreds more, local Armenian authorities say. Nearly 300 people were admitted to hospitals, with dozens of them still in critical condition. It comes as the Armenian government said 13,350 refugees crossed into the country from the enclave. The disputed Nagorno-Karabakh region is home to a majority of some 120,000 ethnic Armenians. It is not yet clear what caused the explosion on Monday evening in the main city of Stepanakert. In a statement on Tuesday, local officials said 13 unidentified bodies were found at the scene and 7 more died in hospital. Since Azerbaijan seized Nagorno-Karabakh last week, thousands of people have left the area after the Armenian government in Yerevan announced plans to move those made homeless by the fighting. Now we bring you local sports news. Members of the Namibia football fraternity have vowed to keep their preferred candidates for the NFA Exco confidential to avoid a repeat of the last elections. The FIFA Normalization Committee has announced that the anticipated elections will take place on the 17th of November. As a result, the association will see a new executive and a new president elected. The Namibian Sports Commission has announced its final shortlist for the annual Namibian Sports Awards, which will be presented on October 28th at the Dome in Swakopmund. The awards, which will be broadcast live by NBC TV, are sponsored by MTC, Debmarine Namibia, Namdia, Standard Bank, Namibia Wildlife Resorts, and Nampower. The Windhoek Jets claimed the 2023 Richelieu T20 franchise tournament after beating the Etosha Wildcats by 18 runs in the final on Sunday afternoon. The Etosha Wildcats won the loss and elected to bowl first. Stick around after the break. We bring you highlights from today's broadcast.
Neopaints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neopaints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neopaints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
You're watching Animated One. If you're just joining us, here are the news highlights. Kenya and the US signed a defense agreement Monday that will see the East African nation get resources and support for security deployments as it is poised to lead a multinational peacekeeping mission to Haiti to combat gang violence. An explosion at a fuel depot in Azerbaijan's Nagorno-Karabakh has killed 20 people and injured hundreds more, local Armenian authorities say. In sports, Rugby World Cup winners Uruguay and Namibia clashed in Lyon on Wednesday in their own personal final, where the winner takes home the glory and the loser faces 4 years of frustration. Those have been your highlights. Remember to tune in every weekday at 1 p.m. to spend your lunch hour with Animated One, catching up on the latest news in Namibia and beyond. From all of us here in studio, we wish you a lovely Tuesday ahead.